I was really gonna continue with this video not having blended this contour on my chin. And you guys are just gonna let me. You guys are fake. Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sin. Today I wanted to do something a little different. One of my mutuals on TikTok recommended that I do like makeup looks while I talk about cinematic elements, just to kind of get more like a more female audience. So like the algorithm pushes my content out to women, because that's been like a big struggle with like posting on YouTube, because I talk about film and there's like film tends to be a very male dominated industry. Hence the whole reason I do these videos is to kind of highlight the few women that are in the industry. So it makes sense that my content, if it's film and film commentary, it's being pushed out to men. So I'm trying to trick the algorithm and push it out to more of the girlies. We'll see how that goes. But let's get right into the video. I think the first thing I want to do is go in with the color corrector. Okay, I'm kind of getting the hang of this, like talking and applying makeup. It might not look like I'm struggling, but your girl is struggling over here, winging the fuck out of this. I think I'm gonna use this. This looks right. I don't know though. Like I said in the intro, I wanted to talk about cinematic elements I learned in film school that I cannot unsee when I watch movies. I'm not saying that this ruined my experience with watching film, not by any means. If anything, it's made me more excited. I feel like I speak another language that no one else speaks, or very few people speak, and like I'm in a secret society and like we're communicating with each other through film. Like that's how I feel sometimes. That's why I feel like it doesn't bother me that I'm so hyper vigilant of these things, just because I get really excited when I'm able to like point them out. So this is in no particular order. This is just stuff. I just made a random list of things that like I look out for whenever I'm watching movies and TV shows. Not that I actively look for them, but like when I do spot them, I'm like,
whoa, whoa. Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
I have a rough hand. That kind of hurt. I need to be more gentle as I continue to just absolutely pound into my skin. Okay. This looks crazy right now. I look absolutely insane, but it's gonna oxidize and it's gonna be more true to my skin tone, hopefully. That's been my case and it looks pretty good on camera. Plus I'm gonna like contour and stuff and put like color in my face, so. When you are editing, I learned how to edit in school and hopefully it kind of translates into the way I edit videos. But something I learned is you need to cut on the action. The way that our brains are wired and the fact that video is just a bunch of photographs flashing at such a rapid rate, the way that our eyes like perceive motion and action, you need to cut on the action. So like, as an example, like if someone's reaching for a doorknob to like turn the doorknob, we're gonna edit. If you have like a wide shot of them reaching for the doorknob and then you then cut to like their hand on the doorknob, you're gonna wanna cut on the action. You don't wanna like have them completely put their hand down, grab the doorknob, and then cut to them grabbing the doorknob. It looks uncanny, like it doesn't work. So something editors realize is you have to cut on the action. I'm always like hyper vigilant of like when they decide to like cut, what kind of cuts they make, and when they do it. But for the most part, a rule of thumb is cut on the action. Okay, I look crazy, but that's what makeup videos are about, right? And then I'm gonna go in after I blend this out a little bit with this Lancome all over concealer, like a brightening concealer in the shade, I don't wanna read all that. This one, sorry. I don't think I was meant to be a makeup girly, but I'm gonna challenge myself and probably do more because this is actually getting kind of fun. So, another thing that I can't seem to escape when watching movies is I'm hyper aware of the use of color. So I am very observant of the intentional use of color, which colors they use, what they're trying to convey, what that does to the film. Once you are aware of it, once you notice it, it's very hard to not notice it. And whenever I do, I'm just like, ooh, I love it. That also kind of plays into color grading. That's like why, not always, but it falls into that same kind of umbrella when filmmakers make Mexico like orange to symbolize like they're in a different cut. Like that's dumb as fuck, the dumb example, and I hate when they do that. But that is use of color, whether I like it or not, whether I think it's stupid or not. Like that is an example of use of color. But then we have great uses of color, like in Time Stalker. There's good examples, there's bad examples, there's great cinematographers, there's the cinematographers that make Mexico yellow. So most people, I guess, don't know how to put it into words, but use of color can really convey so much. It can convey like the energy, the character's emotions, the energy of a scene. I was really gonna continue with this video not having blended this contour on my chin. And you guys are just gonna let me. You guys are fake. Fake audience. Lighting. Okay. Color and lighting can go hand in hand, but they are two separate things. Like, for example, this lighting setup I have, there's no real color. It's just white. It's just white lights over here, over there, and over there. Kind of neutral white balance. I don't know the settings, but I did something, right? So it looks pretty like flat. But if you add more lightings, if you change the positions of the lighting, like for example, I'll show you right now. If I turn off these two lights and just have that one light, you'll see how that changes the video. Not as nice, because now this light is really harsh. This does look a little more dimensional, but the shadows can be distracting. There's so much you can do with light, like absolutely so much. This is just like a basic example, just to have enough light on the subject so that the subject stays in focus and you can just focus on me the entire video. But when you are lighting a scene, like a specific scene in a movie, there's so much you can do with light, because you can make lights more dramatic, you can create depth, you can create fake days, fake nights, you can create like street lights passing. Like there is so much you can do by imitating light and using light fixtures, different lights, different intensities, different colors, putting filters on them. It just creates a vibe. So directors always are trying to find a certain look to convey a certain emotion, tone, all these things. And a cinematographer works hand in hand with the director to achieve that. So anytime I see lighting, especially with this movie right now, I just watched The Substance. The cinematographer and Benjamin, he's such a good cinematographer. I love him. I love his work. He's worked with a lot of female directors, so I love him for that. In The Substance, Elizabeth is older, right? She's like in her 50s. And then her counterpart, Sue, she's much younger, right? If you notice, Elizabeth in and of herself isn't, like, she looks good for her age, right? For a 50-year-old, she looks pretty good. So what he does is he manipulates the light to make those like naturally dark places like on her face look like hollow and concave because of the way he's manipulating the light to hit her face. She doesn't look bad for her age.
Please. All right, I hope I see you next week.
But the way that they light her makes her look absolutely decrepit. He's purposely making her look so bad, which is the point of the film, because that's how she's perceiving herself. But once you see it through like that cinematic lens, you're just like, oh my God, you really are taking this to the max. And that's just like a cool way that lighting is used in film. Okay, now I'm gonna get more into like cinematography. And when you see people like film bros online talking about film, for the most part, they're talking about the cinematography. For the most part. There's obviously so many elements to film. Cinematography isn't everything, but it plays such a key role in it that I feel like sometimes people, they get lost in cinematography, and that's like their whole focus. You know those people who are like, just say big words to sound smart? If you are talking about films with like a film buff, and they just like get all technical and like, they're talking about cinematography and they're talking about what I'm gonna talk about now, just because a cinematographer works so closely with the director, and they, for the most part, are the ones creating the image. Because film is such a visual medium, cinematography and having a good cinematographer that can convey an image you have in your head as a director is so crucial to a great movie. That's where I feel like the film bros and like I'm talking about the pretentious, insufferable film bros. That's who I'm talking about right now. That's kind of the basis of their talking points. They say it like very fast and like very matter-of-fact way. It's lines, it's shape, it's lighting, it's color. It's not rocket science. Don't let these guys intimidate you just because you don't know what the fuck aspect ratio is. It's not that serious. It's not that big. Unless you're on a film set and like you are a part of the film crew, you don't need to know this to enjoy a film. As long as you can infer the message, understand the plot, follow along with the dialogue, and feel emotion and connection with the film, you're doing everything right. Do not let these pretentious film buffs make you feel less than or dumb just because you don't know all the little technical terms for these other elements in film. Please. Guys don't know what the fuck they're doing when they're having sex with girls and they still get to enjoy it. We can enjoy things without being 100% knowledgeable and experts. Okay, that's just life. But I'm rambling with all this fucking concealer on. Let's just get through the makeup look.
Do you know you have 30 minutes?
Are you kidding me?
30 minutes?
30, yes.
If you've ever taken a photography class or you've tried to get into photography, when you are filming or taking a photo, for the most part, you're trying to keep things within frame, within this grid, right? 1, 2, 3, this grid. If you want to make things strong visually in cinema, you want to keep things in the grid. Not so much in the squares, but on the lines. That's something I learned, and these are some examples. To enjoy a movie, you don't have to follow movement and placement this intently. As a cinematographer, you do, just because if you don't, although it looks okay, this is the key difference between a raggedy short film that like someone shot on their iPhone and a professional cinematic film, right? These little things you can kind of tweak. As long as you keep the characters in frame on their axes, it's gonna look good. It doesn't matter if you shot it on a Nokia brick. It doesn't matter if you shot it on a professional red camera. As long as you follow these elements and you keep things where they're supposed to be, it's gonna look good. And you can kind of tell, because when you're watching film and television, for the most part, that's kind of where the actors stay. It's very hard to see them anywhere else on the screen, unless the cinematographer deliberately made that choice to convey something different. That kind of goes hand in hand with like angles. Like if you see something shot at like a Dutch angle, it's to kind of convey things are off, because for the most part, things are kept pretty upright. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So that's kind of lines and grid. My favorite use of lines and grid and placement is frame within a frame, because what the cinematographer is trying to convey there is like they really want you to focus on that. Whatever they have framed, they want you to focus there. And in the movie I watched recently, The Substance, they use this constantly. If you put someone in a room and you put too many distractions around them, it's hard for the audience member, depending on like what they're doing, where they are, to focus where you want them to focus, unless you remove all distractions. Some people don't like it. Some people think it's overkill. Some people think that you're doing too much and you're not letting the audience kind of figure it out themselves. But sometimes you don't want the audience to think. It's like baby-proofing a movie, but not. Because people, especially in an age with like cell phones and like watching things passively, sometimes you gotta give the audience that little help and tell them to focus where you want them to focus. I think this is the last thing I'm gonna talk about, art direction. Because film is such a visual medium, this is not the beauty blender for this, but I don't feel like going upstairs. Because film is such a visual media, it's artistic, right? But the thing about art is it's subjective. There's no right or wrong way to do anything or shoot anything. There are industry standards, but at the end of the day, art is art and art is subjective, and you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. And this is prevalent considering all the different types of art direction. Martin Scorsese has a more down-to-earth art expression. Quentin Tarantino has a more sensationalist way of art expression. Sofia Coppola, she really has, because of her work, experience with music videos. So a lot of her films kind of read like a music video, or at least her montages do. And it's very nice to see when directors have their own distinct style. Look at Wes Anderson. When you see a Wes Anderson film, you can tell it's Wes Anderson. When you see a Quentin Tarantino movie, you can tell it's Quentin Tarantino. And every director will go through that. You have to first learn the rules to break the rules. And that's just the thing about art. That's why I'm so like adamant about talking about women on my page and like celebrating female directors and just like people kind of trailblazing this industry, because there's no one right way to make a movie, and the countless different types of directors and their art styles are testament to that, which is really, I think it's just really cool. I'm gonna finish off with a bold red lip and some lashes. Well, mascara. I'm not gonna put on lashes. It's too late and I'm gonna take this makeup off as soon as I put it on. I watch Trixie Mattel put on makeup every single Monday whenever she like drops her videos. It's also my dream to do my makeup with Trixie Mattel and whatever. Do I look pale as a ghost? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm doing this kind of blind anyway. As I was saying, like I watch Trixie Mattel do this basically once a week, and I'm just like, oh, that's easy, because I do it like in the privacy of my own bathroom every day. In front of a camera, where I'm trying to talk to the camera and actually shoot content. I don't know how she does it. My goodness, this has been the hardest thing I've done. And I've gone to college. This is anxiety inducing. Also, speaking of drag queens, I got this lip pencil from Kimchi. I don't know if this is really from Kimchi, because I bought this in like a back alley in Los Angeles. I don't know if that's a knockoff or what, but it works, it's cute. You do in downtown LA stays in downtown LA. Okay, this is the final look. Now looking at the camera, I don't know if it's the lighting. I don't know if like I didn't put enough contour on. I just feel like I look too pale, too washed out, not into it. This was a little anxiety inducing, I'm not gonna lie. A little out of my comfort zone, give myself a little challenge. I'm not gonna sit here and say that like this was so much fun, I can't wait to do this one. I don't know about doing one of these again where like I'm putting on makeup. I'm just trying to get more girlies to watch my content. We'll see how much more makeup stuff I do. Maybe if I do any makeup stuff ever in the future, it'll be like trying out a new like eye look. I probably won't do like another whole face again. It's just too distracting when I want to talk about cinema. I also have so much more to say than everything I said in this video. So if you guys want if you guys want like a part 2, I'm totally down to do a part 2 of more things I learned in film school. Because there's a lot, and I couldn't put it all into this one video. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.